I wish you wouldn't read my diary. 2 stars, 3 hourglasses. Stars and sands, I detest being bottled up. Patience is a chief virtue among genies. After all, we don't know when we'll next be found and released, but it can be a difficult one to maintain. One tries to pass the time in any way one can, but as the centuries fall away, it can be quite taxing on the mind. Especially since the lantern can get very claustrophobic at times. Keeping myself occupied is one of the reasons I decided upon keeping a diary. I would like to keep track of my wonderful times in the outside world and all the lovely monsters I've met. It will be something pleasant to turn to when I am sad and lonely, which seems to be more and more often. 2 stars, 4 hourglasses. There are many wonderful things about being a genie. The power you command is immense, and the places you find yourself can be amazing. And making wishes come true? Well, it could be better than that. But there is always a very sad part, too. Returning to the lantern when your tasks are done. Even though I am able to grant 13 wishes to each finder I meet, more than most of my kind, the time always seems to pass too quickly. I just returned from assisting my newest finder, a sweet banshee girl who wanted nothing more than to be able to sing beautifully instead of wailing mournfully. The look on her face when she first heard her new voice was so surprised and joyful that it made us both burst out laughing. Since that was her one heart's desire, it was difficult for her to think of other ways to spend her wishes. But together we found ways to grant good fortune on her friends and family as well. She even postponed using her last wish so that I could spend more time in the outside world with her. But, as always, we had to say goodbye. Still, it's marvelous when one's finder is someone who's truly kind. My father once warned me that my finders may not always be so pure of heart, and that I may find their wishes difficult to grant. But also that it's not the genie's place to judge a finder's wishes. The finder must choose his or her own way. Thus far, I've been lucky, as all my finder's desires have been good-natured, or at the very least, harmless. But I dread the day I will hear an ill-meant wish. 1 star, 2 hourglasses, 1 star. In the lantern, there is an endless expanse of sand, in the palace that I call home. Well, I say endless, but it doesn't really end or begin anywhere. Once, when I was very, very bored, I set out from my home, intending to find the end of the world inside the lantern. But after an hour's walk, I came back upon the palace I'd started from the other side, as if I'd gone around in a circle. It was very disorienting. I've tried it again a handful of times, but it's no use. The lantern is entirely self-contained, and I am contained within. It has its perks, of course. My palace is beautiful, and of course I can rearrange it however I choose. If I want a swimming pool, or a room filled with ice cream, or a closet full of jeweled gowns, I need only nod my head. But without someone to share it with, it all seems very empty. In my world, in the lantern, I can make nearly anything I want. Nearly anything, that is, except a friend. 1 star for hourglasses, 1 star. I will never understand the desire for finders to wish for more wishes. A, it never works, and B, it really annoys your genie. Besides, I grant 13 wishes per finder, which I think is quite a lot by genie standards. Some finders have told me of legends that genies grant 3 wishes only, but I've heard of genies who can only grant 1, and some who can grant even more than me. Of course, genies are quite rare, and we don't often meet. Perhaps it depends on the magic of the lantern we're bound to, or perhaps our own inborn magic. I suppose in many ways I am still learning about my powers myself. Maybe I'm capable of things I'm not aware of. Still, though, I wish that monsters would stop wishing for exponential wishes. It will simply never happen. Myself, I only have 1 wish, and you can probably guess what it would be. 2 side stars, 1 hourglass. How did the stranger know my heart's desire? Why did the finder decide to listen to him? How could I have been so lucky? I do not know. What I do know is that now I have a friend, and my long solitude within the lantern is at last at an end, thanks to that kind finder's wish. Her name is Wisp, and she is my own shadow, brought to life during the shadow eclipse, and with a mind and will of her own. It's strange. You would think my shadow would be exactly the same as me, but Wisp is most definitely one of a kind. She is clever, mischievous, and funny, and bursting with new ideas. I've hardly had time to write. We've been having so much fun together. Yesterday we raced camels across the sands, and today she wants to repaint the main hall of the Palace Puce, just to see how it would look. And anything she can think of, I am happy to do. She seems to have some magic of her own, but it's not as strong as mine. Still, I think with time she can learn. And we have all the time in the world. 2 side stars, 3 hourglasses. Wisp is angry with me. It's the first time she's ever been angry with me. At least, I think so. The finders are the problem, or rather, the way I come and go with their desires is the real problem. Wisp's power has been growing, but as of yet, she hasn't been able to emerge from the lantern with me. She's angry that I don't take her with me when I go, but because I have no warning when I'm summoned and can't return to the lamp until I have completed my tasks, I'm unable to. I understand her sadness. After all, I know how it feels to be left alone. But in this matter, I am powerless, and I think she cannot imagine that I am powerless in anything. After all, she sees me working great magic in the lantern all the time. Her anger upsets me, but I can't imagine we won't be able to work it out. She's my best friend. I don't want to lose her. Hourglass, star, side star, hourglass. I thought having Wisp was a dream come true, but she's become a nightmare. Wisp has been concealing her strength from me. She had grown more powerful than I realized. On my most recent summons to the outside world, she followed me, and to my horror began to corrupt the finder, whispering dark thoughts and changing her desires, making her wish for evil things. As a genie, I cannot influence a finder so, but Wisp is strong and has no such limitations on her powers. If it weren't for the magic mirror, I shudder to think what could have become of the world outside, plunged into eternal shadow. Thank goodness the finder came to her senses and wished us both returned inside. For now, Wisp is hiding from me. She has her side of the palace, and I have mine. But I fear that she may soon control the world inside the lantern. I know she would not harm me. Or, at least I hope not. But I'm afraid of what may happen should she grow even stronger. I must try to protect the Finders from her influence, no matter the cost. But I do not know how difficult that will be, especially as I am unable to warn them directly. Stars and sands, what can I do? The very first day of November. How strange it is to finally date an entry, to finally exist as a part of the world rather than apart from it. So much has happened. Today will be my first day of school with my new friends and with hope for a new start. It is strange being a genie without a lantern. My powers are unfettered, but I've had to promise Headmistress Bloodgood that I will keep my magic to a minimum on campus, which is probably for the best. She says they've never had a genie as a student before, and it will be an interesting learning experience for everyone. For me, especially, I think. Claudine tried to warn me that I will find school, so deadly boring after granting wishes for so long. And I told her that after being locked in a lantern for centuries is much duller than any biology class could ever hope to be. Frankie said I probably shouldn't mention that to the teachers, though. They might take it as a challenge. For now, I am closing the book on this diary and starting a new one, filled with excitement and new friends, and new ways of making my own wishes come true.